Good day everyone. Today I will discuss the topic entitled The Rise, Spread, and Fall of the Islamic State. This topic focuses on how the Islamic State, also known as ISIS, ISIL, or Daesh, emerged, expanded, and eventually declined over time. The rise of the Islamic State demonstrates how religion can be used both as a source of unity and as a tool for conflict. ISIS originated from Al-Qaeda in Iraq, a local offshoot of Al-Qaeda founded by Abu Musab al-Zarqawi in 2004. After years of instability, the group began to re-emerge around 2011, taking advantage of political and social chaos in Iraq and Syria to recruit followers and strengthen its forces. The role of religion in global conflict, as ISIS used religious belief to justify violence and expand its influence religion. When misinterpreted or exploited, can become a powerful tool that fuels wars and global insecurity. The case of ISIS shows how religion, instead of promoting peace, was manipulated to empower radical ideologies and create fear worldwide. ISIS sought to establish a global caliphate, a religious empire that crossed national borders. The goal of transnational religion and multiple globalization, where religious movements use global network media and technology to spread their message beyond their original territories. Beyond secularization debate, proving that religion continues to play a major role in shaping modern global affairs. While many believe that modernization would reduce the influence of religion, the rise of ISIS showed that religious motivation remained deeply embedded in political and social conflicts.
Good day everyone. Today's report is about the rise, spread, and the fall of the Islamic State, also known as ISIS. Islamic states become after years of war and instability in the Middle East, mainly in Iraq and Syria. The group wanted to build Islamic government, soon become known for its violent attack and strict control at its height. ISIS ruled millions of people and spread fear through killings, destruction, and its harsh laws. It also used the internet to recruit followers and spread its propaganda around the world. Even after losing many of its leaders, ISIS continued to expand its network in other regions, especially in Africa. In 2023, US officials warned that the group remained a global threat because of its fighters still in detention camps and its growing online influence. Thousands of children in refugee camps are also at the risk of being drawn into extremism if no action is taken. In Afghanistan, other ISIS branch continue to pose danger by carrying out attack and spreading extremism beliefs. Although ISIS has lost its territory, its ideology and influence still remains strong in some part of the world. The fall of the Islamic State shows that the military force cannot fully end terrorism. No peace requires cooperation, education, and effort to stop the spread of violation groups. The rise and the fall of ISIS show how religion, politics, and globalization Understanding the history of ISIS is important because it reminds the world that the violence is not only about the control, but also about influencing mind. The lesson learned from its rise and fall can help prevent the spread of extremism in future and promote globalism.
Sa patuloy na pag-iinit ng bagong pandaigdigan digmaan, muling na pag-uusapan ang papel ng relihiyon. Hindi bilang sanhi, kundi bilang gabay ng milyon-milyon sa panahon ng kaguluhan. Sa kabila ng paggamit ng ilan sa relihiyon upang bigyang katwiran, ang karahasan marami naman ang nananawagan ng pagkakaisa at kapayapaan. Sa Maynila, Roma at Mecca, sabay-sabay ang pananawagan, titigil ang pagdanak ng dugo. Ayon sa mga eksperto, ang maling paggamit ng reliyon ay maaaring magpalalim ng hidwaan. Ngunit, ipinapakita rin ng mga mananampalataya na ang pananalig ay maaaring maging tulay tungo sa kapayapaan. Sa panahon ng digmaan, ang pananampalataya ay nananatiling sandigan ng pag-asa.
Good day, everyone. Today I will discuss the role of religion in globalization. What is odd about this new global war is not only the difficulty in defining it and the non-state transnational character of the opposition, but also the opponent's ascription to ideologies based on religion. The tradition of secular politics from the time of the Enlightenment has comfortably ignored religion, marginalized its role in public life, and frequently co-opted it for its own civil religion or public religiosity. No one in the one secular world could have predicted that the first confrontations of the 21st century would involve, of all things, religion, secularism, old long vanished foe. Religious activists are fostering anomalies in the secular world. More religious people and their organizations are either firmly supportive of the secular state, recently uninterested in it. Osama bin Laden's Al-Qaeda network, like most of the new religious activists, comprise a small group at the extreme end of a hostile subculture that itself is a small minority.
Patuloy sa part ng the role of the religion. Hindi maikakaila na ang mga paniniwala at ideya ng mga aktivista tulad ni Ben Laden ay tunay na nakaugat sa reliyon at maaaring tanggapin o hangaan ng mga kanilang mga kapwa mananampalataya. Dahil sa impluensya ng mga reliyon, nagkakaroon sila ng pakiramdam na makatarungan ang paggamit ng karahasan sa kanilang pag-atake sa simbolo ng kapangyarihan o ekonomiya ng mundo. Ginagamit din nila ang ideya ng caustic war o banal na labanan, isang larawan na pakikibaka sa pagitan ng mabuti at masama. Isang temang matatagpuan sa sulat ng religion. Sa ganitong pananaw, ang pag-atake sa World Trade Center ay hindi lamang isang political na action, kundi isang reliyong gawain. Isang malaking kapangyarihan na tila kasing lawak ng mga kwento sa Biblia. Pagkaman, walang malinaw na layunin ang militar ang mga ganitong pag-atake. Nilalayo nilang gisingin ang kamalayan ng mga tao. Ang mga ito ay sinadula para sa mundo, mga o para sa television, na nagpapakita ng kapangyarihan at nagbibigay ng kapangyarihan ng mensahe tungkol sa kanilang pananaw at sa tama at mali. Sa pag-aaral ng iba't ibang kaso ng reliyosong terorismo, humilito na pare-pareho ang pattern na ginamit ng mga reliyon upang biglang katuwiran ang karahasan at gawing banal ang natunggalian ang mga isyong pangmundo. Hindi lamang ito tungkol sa politika. Ginagawang reliyoso ang mga politika, kaya ang mga karaniwang labanan ay nagmumukhang banal na digmaan sa mga matulong naniniwala. Sa madaling sabi, pinapakita ang tala kung paano ginagamit ng ilang ekstremista ng bigyan dangal at katuwiran ang kanilang mga marahas na gawain at gawain bahagi ng walang malusyon at karasan. Pinapakita dito ang maaaring maabusang kapag ginamit upang bigyang katuwiran ang mga karasan at ekstremismo. Dapat natin maunawaan ang mga tunay na layunin ng reliyon ay kapayapaan, paggalang at pagkakaisa, hindi digmaan o pagkawasa.
Global war. The concept of a global war refers to large-scale conflict involving many nations, action the world, typically fought on multiple continents and oceans. The most notable examples are the First and Second World War, which reshaped global politics, economics, and societies. These wars were not limited to a single region. They involved alliance among countries and were driven by nationalism, imperialism, and pursuit of power. The First World War, 1914 to 1918, began after the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria and rapidly escalated due to existing alliance. It led to massive casualties and destruction, ending with the Treaty of Versailles, which placed heavy penalties on Germany. The harsh terms of the treaty and global economic instability later contributed to the rise of Adolf Hitler and the start of the Second World War, 1939 to 1945. World War II was even more devastating, involving both of alliance power, United States, United Kingdom, Soviet Union, China, and others, and the Axis power, Germany, Italy, and Japan. It included the major events such as Holocaust, the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and the emergence of nuclear weapons. The World War ended in 1945, leading to the establishment of the United Nations, aimed at preventing future global conflict. The aftermath of global wars also triggered the Cold War between the United States and the Soviet Union, a prolonged political, military, and ideological struggle. Without direct large-scale fighting, this period was marked by nuclear tension, the arms race, and proxy wars. Today, the term global war also refers to modern conflict like the global war or terror launched after the 9/11 attacks in 2001. It highlights how warfare has evolved no longer just about theory but also ideology, religion, and technology. In conclusion, global wars have changed how nations cooperate and compete. They have shown the both destructive capacity and humanity and the importance of peace, diplomacy, and international cooperation to ensure such devastating conflict never happen again.
Empowering religion in the globalization of religion. In a world that is constantly changing, where technology connects us in seconds and cultures blend across borders, religion continues to be one of the strongest forces that guide humanity. Globalization has made the world smaller, but it has also challenged how we keep our faith alive. Yet in this era of globalization, religion does not lose its power. It becomes more empowering than ever. Through globalization, we are exposed to many beliefs, traditions, and values. Some may see as a threat to religion, but it can also be seen as an opportunity to understand, to respect, and to unite. When religion embraces the global community, it becomes a source of empowerment rather than division. Religion teaches us compassion, justice, and humility, virtues that the global world needs most, gives people moral direction amid confusion, and a sense of belonging in a world that sometimes feels disconnected. The globalization of religion allows us to share a faith beyond boundaries, spreading peace instead of prejudice and love instead of hatred. Empowering religion in this age means using global platforms not to compete but to collaborate, to promote harmony among faiths. It means respecting differences while finding common ground. It means using media, education, and communication to spread values that heal, not harm. As the world grows more connected, let our faith grow stronger, not in isolation, but in understanding. Empowering religion in globalization means standing firm in what we believe while opening our hearts to others. Because when faith meets the world with love, when religion embraces diversity with respect, and when people live their faith through kindness, then religion truly becomes a power that unites the world.
Traditionally, the secularization debate that as societies become more modern, scientific, and technologically advanced, religion would lose its importance. It was believed that modernization would lead to a decline in religious belief and practices, and that people would rely more on reason and less on faith. However, in the age of globalization, this idea no longer holds true. Instead of disappearing, religion has adapted and even grew stronger in many parts of the world. Globalization has allowed religions to spread across national borders through migration, communication, and digital technology. For example, we can now see international religions, movements, online worship service, and globally faith-based organizations that connect millions of believers around the world. In this sense, globalization does not weaken religion, it transforms, it changes how people express their faith and how religious institutes operate. In a more connected world, religion becomes a global force that adapts to modern realities while maintaining its spiritual core.
Religion has always shaped humanity, inspiring hope and compassion and community. Yet it has also fueled some of the world's greatest division. From the Crusades to modern conflict in the Middle East, faith has often been caught between peace and power. At its heart, religion teaches love and mercy. But when it's mixed with the politics and identity, it can become a weapon. Many so-called religious wars are driven not by belief, but by fear, territory, and control. Still, religion can heal as much as it harms. Across the world, faith leaders unite people once divided. Muslims and Christians working for peace in Nigeria, rabbis and imams praying together in Jerusalem. Religion can divide us, or it can bring us together. The choice is not in faith itself, but in how humanity chooses to live it, with hatred or with understanding. Religion can start wars, but it can also end them.